We are about 30 minutes away from a news conference with Otto Warmbier's family. The American college student who was held in North Korea for more than a year is now back in his hometown of Cincinnati, but hospitalized after the regime released him in a coma. His father saying he was, quote, terrorized and brutalized, adding that he is grateful to be with his son after all this time. Here he is talking with our own Tucker Carlson.
Being able to see Otto for the first time in, gosh, I bet it's 18 months. It was fantastic. Otto's not in great shape right now, and he's been through a real tough time, and it's great to have him with us.
Joining me now, Ohio Senator Rob Portman. Sir, thank you for being with us this morning. I know that you have worked relentlessly around the clock trying to get this young man home. What can you tell us about how this finally came to fruition?
Well, first, Shannon, this family has been remarkably strong over the past 18 months. I don't know how they've done it. No family should have to go through what they've gone through. And we found out 8 days ago that, in fact, for the past 16 months, that Otto has been in this really tough condition and unable to respond. And I guess now we know why they wouldn't allow consular access. Normally, the Swedish embassy there is at least able to visit their prisoners. And so it's a real tragedy, and yet he is home. And I was there, as you know, with the family when he came home, and very emotional. My heart goes out to the family, and we worked hard with them, trying every angle, but the North Korean regime is as bad as the worst expectations. If anybody questions the nature of this regime, they shouldn't anymore. Not only don't they respect the rule of law and the basic freedoms that we all enjoy, but this is a regime that obviously has little regard for human dignity or human rights at all. To not permit, once they knew of his medical condition, for there to be access and for there to be help is abhorrent. And so we're going to know more later today. There'll be a press conference by the family and also a press conference by the medical professionals who are caring for Otto.
In the meantime, there are reports that a senior U.S. official says that U.S. intelligence has gotten word that he had been repeatedly beaten during his time away. And they suggest that's a break with past policy from this regime, that they didn't want to have an injured or dead American on their hands. Do we have any clue why Otto may have been treated differently?
We don't know. We don't know. One of the sad realities is how much we don't know, because there is no line of communication. And in fact, the only reason 8 days ago we were able to find out about the tough condition he had been in for the previous 16 months was because the North Koreans, as you know, had detained 2 additional Americans, and they were interested in talking about a potential line of communication regarding all the detainees. There are 3 still there, the 2 new ones and 1 who was previously detained. And by the way, we should ask for their unconditional release at this point as well. Given what's happened, I think the international community should step up and be much more aggressive in helping us to obtain the release of those 3 individuals, but also putting pressure on the North Korean regime on a whole series of issues, including obviously their development of nuclear weapons and the capability to deliver them.
Should there be, in your estimation, a response, a punishment, something further that we could do to North Korea after this treatment of this young man?
Well, yes, we should again work with the international community, China in particular. There are still a number of Chinese companies that do business with North Korea. In fact, some of those companies have been involved in the development of the nuclear weapons programs, as we understand it. And it's time for us to truly treat them as the pariah country they are. And that's going to require not just the United States, but other countries to join as well. And the consequences here are obviously incredibly important, because they do have the nuclear capability now, we know that, and they're developing the means to have an intercontinental ballistic missile. So this is an issue that every country in the world should care about.
Senator, we know that you worked hard with this family, and we'll stay with them through this long recovery process as well. We'll hear more from them in less than a half hour, and then the medical team this afternoon. Sir, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon.